so obviously here to say that I'll be finishing up at the end of this year, and it's been a long journey, walking in here as a 17-year-old and living a childhood dream basically, and I suppose finishing off on that note, I'd probably like the opportunity to thank my partner first of all, Sonia, and the 2 kids, and also mum and dad and my brother and 2 sisters who have pretty much rode this journey the whole way, and it's been unbelievable, and one chapter ends and another one opens.
How tough was the decision?
I sort of knew last year was a tough decision, whether to come back or not, and then after the round 1 Hawthorn game, it was sort of the epitome of something that I wanted to do, and that sort of was, I've sort of ever thought of it ever since that day. So it has been a tough decision because you always want to play for as long as you can, but at some point you've got to give it away and move on with life.
So did you always think this would be your last year, or were you hoping you could come back and maybe squeeze a couple more?
No, it would have been nice to finish off on a different note, but it's been an amazing experience, and I've learned a lot about myself in this year, but also last year and probably over my whole career, and it's been amazing to be able to hopefully teach and pass on some of my knowledge to the VFL guys and the younger guys of this football club, which is going to be a very exciting time for the club, and I'll certainly be watching on with intent and excitement.
Job spoke about how he sort of, when he came back to the game, it was a bit like a relationship that you still love it, but it's a different kind of love. Have you had a similar experience to that? Yeah,
a little bit. I suppose the drive wasn't there as much in the first 13 years of my career, and even though I trained last year, it was just something that I knew, that's all I knew what to do, so I sort of stuck with that, and always and making a decision that year I didn't feel was necessary, and I thank the football club and John for giving me the opportunity to come back and play however many games I was going to play this year to finish off on hopefully a good note, and there is still hopefully some success this year, whether it's VFL, AFL, and I think that would be an exciting chapter or a story to finish off on.
What was the secret to your durability, Brent?
I certainly tried to take good care of my body and tried to train the hardest out of any player on the list. I suppose when I first walked in the club, we had the likes of James Hird, Matthew Lloyd, Scott Lucas, and I really just watched how they went about their training and their preparation, and that's sort of something that I tried to emulate over my whole career, and I think I got the best out of my football. So yeah, I'll certainly walk away with no regrets.
You finished I think 7 times top 5 in the BNF, and you're, I think, ranked 13th all time here in terms of games. When you look back on it now, it must feel pretty special to be such a big part of the club in hindsight.
Yeah, I haven't reflected too much. It is a great football club, and I said that to the guys this morning. It is a really fantastic football club with a lot of rich history. Unfortunately, we didn't get the success that we wanted over my playing career, but as I said, there's still opportunity, hopefully this year, but I have no doubt that I'll reflect on my career in a year or 2 years' time, and as I said before, I've sort of turned my passion to teaching and coaching and trying to help this football club forward, and John set up a fantastic program along with all the other coaches, and I have no doubt that I will reflect at a later date.
Do you think you will go into coaching possibly as an assistant afterwards, after your footy
career?
Yeah,
it's certainly something that I'll float. We're going to probably take a little bit of time out just away from football and spend some quality time with family, and probably something that I haven't done, even though we had last year as to do that. I was sort of still focused on training and all that sort of stuff. So it is definitely a passion, and want to do that, and we'll see what happens.
As you mentioned, unfortunately the team success hasn't been there. What are some of the highlights when you look back?
Yeah, we're such a fortunate football club that we play in such big games every year with Anzac Day, Dreamtime, and certainly those games are something that you always remember, your first game, and as I said before, that round 1 clash, it probably meant a lot to not only just the guys returning, but the football club in general. It's a great football club and it's stuck together, and look at the footy club and where they are at now with the members and supporters, you can't ask for much better than that.
You got a finals win in your first year, you must have thought, how good is this going to happen every year?
It's a bit like that. I think when I first arrived, they've only missed the finals once in 20 years or something, and then haven't played too much since. But it is what it is, and you got to be in the right place at the right time. But I feel like I've contributed to this football club, and can sort of hold my head high and really walk away from the game feeling pretty good.
What was it like being thrown into the deep end under Sheedy in such a good team?
It was, and I probably should thank Adrian and Sheeds for the opportunity to bring me to this football club at 17 years old. I played my first game as a 17-year-old and didn't really expect too much of it. You've sort of aimed for one game, and to be able to play as many as I've played, it's a great privilege. And there's so many people around this football club that you're going to have lifelong friendships with, and I suppose that's important. But it definitely was a scary place, and with the players that we had around at that time, I wasn't expecting to play at all. So, but yeah, it's been a fantastic experience.
And John, how would you describe Brent's career?
Well, obviously one of the elite careers, 250 odd games, and we heard about his finishing in the club Best and Fairest awards. So any time you're finishing in your club's top 10 Best and Fairest, you've had an outstanding season, and he's done it continuously over his career. So super runner, super ball winner, user of the football. But I think above all, just a team man. That's what I see and have felt from the players that he's played a lot of footy with, that they just love playing alongside him, knowing what he was going to bring, and also having seen the preparation that he had put in to get himself to the elite level that he played at.
And coaching against him, there were some big rivalries between West Coast and Essendon.
Yeah, always big games, and there was certainly a fair period there where Stance was regularly winning the footy 35 times in a game, and having a massive say on the outcome of the game. So it was certainly a headache that we were well and truly aware of.
Are you still the best golfer at the club?
No, probably not. Hopefully this time next year I will be, because Brendan won't have too much time with another child on the way, and I'll have a bit more time on my hands. So I'll certainly be aiming for that.
Brent, given obviously the tough times that the club's had in the last few years, to see where it is now, it's really on the rise and possibly on the verge of finals so quickly. It must be pretty pleasing for you to see it sort of back on its feet pretty quickly.
No, it is. It's been an amazing turnaround under difficult circumstances, and it's been attributed to a lot of people in this football club, and especially the supporters and members and the board and the coaching staff, to build a program to be able to give these young guys an opportunity to play finals football again, if that is the case, and we're hoping that is the case. So as I said before, there's not much else a football club like this can do to give the opportunity to players to play finals footy, and that's what we're here for.
How'd you go telling the boys? Any tears? Emotional?
No, I held off. I opened up with a little bit of a gag just to break the ice a little bit, which settled my nerves, and then got through it, most of it. A few pauses here and there just to gather my thoughts, and I've been thinking about it for a while, as I said, so I sort of had something that I wanted to go in and say, and the biggest thing that I ended up wanting to say was thank you to everyone for the opportunity, basically.
Do you have a toughest opponent over the journey? You played against some great midfielders.
Yeah, I certainly did, and probably, I can't remember what year it was, but I had to tag Gary Ablett Jr. For a quarter, and that was an experience. But the one that really sticks out in my mind, in my first year against Brisbane, when Brisbane were a powerhouse, she'd said, mate, you're going to go to Nigel Lappin and run with him. And that's sort of when it clicked in my mind on how fit and how hard I had to work to be able to become an elite footballer at AFL level. And he basically run me ragged, and I slept for 2 days after.
Beautiful.
Brent.